Hello dear friends, I'm Roland Günther, homeopath in Royston on Vancouver Island, and I would like to again take you on a walk and discover one of the treasures of our forest here. And it's right in front of me here, and maybe you can see it. This is something super exciting. It's called the Calypso orchid, Calypso bulbosa, and it is one of the really amazing, beautiful orchids that bloom here in our forests in spring. And they have amazing biology, and I'll tell you the story. They pretend to insects. Yeah, we can see it's a flower, but insects have a hard time. Certain insects, very specific insects, and it's the males of certain species of bumblebee. They think that this is a female bumblebee, so they start courting, and the orchid pretends with their colors, with a maybe scent that I can smell anything, but some orchids do that. They have a certain design, they have a certain texture, they have hair on the right place, just to have a super attraction on these male bumblebees. And they come and they want to they think, oh, there's a female, so that seems promising. Yeah, maybe we can have sex, and let's try that. And of course they don't get anything out of it, but when they try that, the orchid puts some pollen on their body, and in the end, when they are frustrated and fly away, nothing that was promised have they really got, but they have something they did not intend, and that's this pollen. And if they then fly around and find another one, maybe the one right here, maybe somewhere else in the forest, and try their luck again, then this orchid is getting pollinated. What an amazing story. Yeah, this is really that's a story of pretense and false promises, and of seduction and betrayal, and this is a story where really that's the stuff where an exciting movie could be made out of. And so orchids, they promise a lot, all kinds of stuff. Other species promise other things. Yeah, some have a certain smell, and flies are attracted and think there's something that they like. Yes, the smell is there, but nothing. Yeah, they don't get anything out of it. It's different in other flowers. Other flowers, they reward the insects with nectar and with pollen that they can use and eat or whatever. But orchids, you only have the honor to be used by an orchid in the end. When we translate that in our human stories, then these stories that life writes of seduction and betrayal and abuse and pretense and promises that are not being kept, and disappointment, and all of this, and addiction and infatuation. Yeah, like when you see these bumblebees, how crazy they are around these orchids. It's quite amazing. So these stories in human terms are often extremely painful. There is involvement in crime and in there's addiction and all the consequences of that. There's crime and addiction, and even diseases that can come out of this, or unwanted pregnancies, and all these things that are extremely painful, and we as humans, we often suffer a lot from that. And this is situations when healers, and especially homeopaths, sometimes use remedies that are made of an orchid in order to help us to deal with stories like that. Why? because the orchids know how to be in peace with that. This is their daily life, this is their normal life, and they help us to deal with it and to let it go and move on to something else in life. And another thing, orchids are artists. When you see what do they make out of a painful story, they make pure beauty out of it. And when you see what artists do, very often they use the pain that they experience in their life or the pain that they witnessed in the world, and they make art out of it. So this is a very creative, healing way of dealing with suffering, that we use our suffering and make art out of it. In the moment we do that, we often can integrate it, and it turns from pure suffering into something precious, and a precious life experience. So this is for today. Thank you so much for coming and witnessing and admiring, of course, the beauty of these orchids here that are here in our forests. We often think orchids are only in the tropical forests, but here in our forests there are also at least some, and some of them are incredibly beautiful, like this small but very, very beautiful Calypso orchid, which is called fairy slipper. Thank you. So we have guests even. Thank you so much, and see you next time.